You walked in the door today. Maybe you were fine. Maybe you were carrying something, a conversation that did not go the way you wanted, a deadline sitting heavy, a feeling you could not quite name. You did not say anything. You did not have to, because before you put your keys down, before you sat, before you did anything at all, your dog already knew. Not because they are magical, because they have been studying you longer than anyone else in your life. And what they found, they carry in their body. This is the part most people never consider. We spend so much time trying to understand our dogs, their behavior, their moods, their needs, that we miss what they are actually doing. They are not just responding to the world around them. They are responding to the world inside you, and when you learn to read that, you stop seeing a dog. You start seeing something far more confronting, a mirror, one that does not lie. One that has never learned how. 1. Your nervous system is their weather. Dogs do not experience emotions the way humans do, but they are exquisitely sensitive to the physiological signals that emotions produce in us. Your heart rate, the tension in your jaw, the rhythm of your breathing, the speed at which you move through a room. When you are calm, genuinely calm, not performing calm, but actually regulated inside, your dog's body follows. Their breathing slows. Their muscles soften, they find a spot, settle into it, and exhale. But when you are anxious, even quietly, even in the way that looks composed from the outside, your dog picks up the signal, not the story, not the reason. Just the frequency, and their nervous system tunes to it like a radio finding a station. This is not metaphor. The research on social buffering in dogs shows that a dog's cortisol levels measurably shift in response to the emotional state of their owner. They do not need you to explain yourself. They are already living inside the emotional weather you are producing. Your dog's restlessness at night might not be about the dog. Your dog's inability to settle when guests arrive might not be about the guests. Sometimes the animal pacing the room is doing it because the person sitting still has not actually stopped moving inside. 2. The behaviors you call problems are often portraits. The anxious dog, the reactive dog, the dog who barks at nothing, who cannot be left alone, who follows you from room to room and presses against your leg until you sit down. We bring them to trainers, we look for techniques, we try to change the behavior, and sometimes the behavior changes, but sometimes it comes back or it shifts into something else. Because we were treating the mirror for showing us something uncomfortable instead of asking what we were bringing to it. Dogs are not blank slates. They have their own histories, their own sensitivities, but the science is consistent. Dogs raised in households with chronic emotional dysregulation, ongoing tension, unpredictability, suppressed stress, show measurably higher baseline anxiety than dogs in emotionally stable environments. Not different training. Different emotional atmosphere. Your dog is not broken, but they are honest. And sometimes what they are honest about is the thing we have been trying not to look at. 3. They grieve what you will not. This is the one that surprises people most. Dogs respond to unspoken loss, not just death, the quieter losses, the relationship that changed, the version of your life you thought you would have by now, the grief that has no ceremony because no one else recognized it as grief. You did not cry, you kept going, you were fine. And yet something in the weeks that followed, your dog began sleeping closer, following with more intention, asking for less, offering more. Pressing against you in the middle of the night without being invited, they felt it. The thing that had no name. There is a reason grief counselors in clinical settings have begun incorporating animal-assisted support. Not because dogs are trained to perform comfort, but because they respond to what is actually present rather than what is being presented. They are not fooled by the version of you that has it together. They are with the version of you that does not. And they choose that version without hesitation. They are not trying to fix you, they are sitting with you, and in that they offer something most humans cannot: presence without agenda, comfort without condition. For what you withhold, they carry. There is a particular kind of dog owner who is deeply emotionally controlled, measured, composed. The kind of person who does not easily cry, does not raise their voice, does not let things land visibly. And they often have dogs who are hypervigilant, always watching, never fully off duty. Because when you suppress your dog's searches, you are broadcasting something that does not match the signal they expect from a safe, settled person, and so they stay alert. They cannot interpret suppression. They cannot read "I am fine" when the body says something different, so they wait, vigilant, loyal to the truth your face is refusing to tell. This is not a flaw in the dog, it is a profound kind of devotion. They would rather stay awake with your unspoken reality than rest comfortably inside a comfortable lie. And if you have ever wondered why some dogs seem to relax fully with certain people and not others, it often has nothing to do with training. It has everything to do with how present that person actually is inside their own skin. 5. The relationship teaches you what the relationship needs. Here is where it becomes something more than science. Every long-term dog owner, if they are honest, will tell you that their dog taught them something about themselves they were not expecting to learn. The dog who kept triggering their impatience showed them where their patience actually ended. The dog who would not be rushed taught them what it felt like to slow down. The dog who needed more than they thought they had made them find more than they thought they had. Dogs do not try to teach us. They have no agenda. They simply respond. Honestly, consistently, without the social performance that humans build around each other to manage perception. And in that honesty, in that unfiltered response to exactly who we are in any given moment, they hand us something rare. Accurate feedback, not from a person with their own needs and interpretations and history, from a being whose only translation of you is the truth of what you are producing right now. Who else in your life gives you that? 6. The quality of the bond tells you something real. A dog who is deeply connected to their owner, who checks in across a room, who settles easily, who recovers quickly from stress, who plays freely, that dog is telling you something about the relationship. Something specific. They feel emotionally safe. And emotional safety in a dog comes not from expensive food or perfect training or a garden or enough walks, though those things matter. It comes from the quality of presence their person brings. The dog who never quite relaxes, who startles easily, who seems to exist in a permanent low-level brace, is also telling you something about tension in the environment, about unpredictability they have learned to prepare for, about a nervous system that has been tuned over time to expect that the world is slightly more uncertain than it should be. You can love a dog completely and still produce an environment that keeps them slightly on edge. Because it is not the love that regulates them. It is the safety that love learns to create. 7. The mirror does not judge, but it does not look away. Your dog has never needed you to be perfect. They have never withheld themselves because you were having a bad season. They have never loved you less because you were not the version of yourself you intended to be. But they have always known which version walked through the door. They have always known the difference between the calm you perform and the calm you actually inhabit. They have always been with the real you, underneath the competence, underneath the composure, underneath whatever face the day required. And they stayed every time, not because they had to, because they chose the realest version of you as the most important thing in their world. That is not neediness, that is not mere attachment. That is the most honest relationship most of us will ever be offered. An animal who sees exactly what we are and decides, without hesitation, that it is enough. The dog is not a reflection of how much you love them. They are a reflection of how safe it feels to be you. And once you understand that, you stop looking at your dog the same way. You start looking at yourself differently instead. Every video on this channel begins the same way, with a question most dog owners have never stopped to ask. And then we go looking for the real answer, not the simplified version, not the comfortable assumption, the actual science, the studies. The behavioral research that takes years to surface and rarely reaches people in a way that feels like a real conversation. That is what we do here, every single time. If this video gave you something, a new way of seeing your dog, or a moment that made you stop and think, then do one thing before you leave. Hit like. Drop a comment and tell us, when did your dog show you something about yourself you were not expecting? And subscribe so you do not miss what we are putting out next. Because the more you understand your dog, the better life gets for both of you. And that is always worth showing up for.